In the heart of the African forest, where shadows dance and secrets whisper, Anansi the spider weaves a web of deceit to steal the gods' most prized possession, their collective wisdom. But Nyame, the sky god, is not one to be trifled with, and the price of failure is a fate worse than death. The night was alive with whispers. Stars burned like lanterns above the village, and every child leaned close to the fire to hear the elder speak. He told them about Nyame, the sky god, who guarded the wisdom of the world in a golden pot, locked high above the clouds. Everyone gasped when the elder said, "No man, woman, or beast had ever touched that pot. Whoever holds it," he warned, "will know the secrets of the gods, but wisdom is not meant to be stolen." Far in the shadows, a small spider listened. His 8 eyes glittered, and his tiny legs twitched. This was Anansi, the trickster, the clever one, the restless dreamer. He was not satisfied with stories. He wanted the pot. He wanted the wisdom. "Why should Nyame keep it all?" Anansi muttered. "Why should only the gods know the secrets of life? I am clever enough to hold them. I am bold enough to climb where no one dares, and I am tricky enough to succeed." That night, while the world slept, Anansi built a ladder of thoughts. Not wood, not rope, thoughts. He stacked ideas on top of lies, lies on top of laughter, until the ladder reached the edge of the sky. But when he climbed, Nyame was waiting. The sky god's voice shook like thunder. "Little spider," he said, "why do you reach for what is not yours?" Anansi bowed low, his legs trembling, but his smile sly. "Great Nyam," he said, "I come not for myself. I come for the people. They stumble in darkness. They quarrel without wisdom. They work without understanding. Would it not honor you if your wisdom was shared instead of locked away?" Nyame's eyes glowed like suns. "Your tongue is quick," he said, "but I hear mischief in it. My wisdom is dangerous. It can shape nations or burn them down. Why should I trust you?" Here, Anansi's mind raced. He could not reveal his true plan, but he also could not turn back. So he offered a challenge. "Test me, Nyame. Give me trials. If I fail, I will weave no more tricks. But if I succeed, let me carry your wisdom to the world." The sky shook with laughter. "Very well, spider. 3 trials you will face. Each will test your heart, your courage, and your cunning. If you win, the pot is yours. But if you fail, your name will vanish from every story." Anansi's 8 eyes widened. To vanish from stories was worse than death. Yet his smile only grew sharper. "Then let the games begin." The fire crackled low in the village, and children leaned closer, unaware that above them, history had already begun to change. The sky rumbled, and Nyam's voice rolled through the clouds. "Anansi, your first trial waits below. A river beast guards the path to wisdom. Cross him, and you may move forward. Fail, and the waters will swallow you." In a blink, Anansi was dropped from the clouds. He landed on a damp riverbank, the moonlight slicing across dark, rushing waters. The air stank of mud and fear. The villagers whispered of this place, but none had dared approach it. The water trembled. From the depths rose the beast, scaled like iron, eyes burning like coals, jaws wide enough to swallow a tree. It hissed, "Little spider, no one crosses me and lives." Anansi's legs shook, but his mind was busy spinning threads of thought. He bowed politely, his voice light. "Mighty guardian, surely you are mistaken. I am no traveler. I am only here to admire your beauty." The beast blinked. "Beauty? Oh yes," Anansi said quickly. "Your teeth shine like silver daggers. Your scales gleam brighter than the stars. Why, I could never dream of crossing. But if I may, could I measure you? To tell the world of your greatness? The beast's chest swelled with pride. Measure me? Yes, Anansi said, pulling a vine from the shore. Stretch out from nose to tail. I will mark the length, so all may know the wonder of the river beast. Suspense hung heavy as the beast uncoiled its body across the riverbank, stretching long and proud. Anansi darted back and forth, wrapping the vine around the beast as though measuring carefully. But with every loop, he tied a knot, tighter, stronger, until the beast was bound. The beast thrashed, roaring loud enough to shake the trees. Water surged, spraying foam and mud. Anansi leapt onto its snout, whispering, "Cleverness is sharper than teeth." With a final tug, the beast was trapped, unable to rise. But just as Anansi turned to leave, the river swelled higher. Nyame's voice boomed above, "Do not celebrate yet, spider. Wisdom cannot be stolen with rope alone. Will you kill the beast, or will you spare him?" Anansi froze. His heart pounded. To kill meant no more challenge, but to spare meant risking revenge. His trick had gotten him this far, but now he faced a choice that tested more than cunning. The beast's eyes glowed red. "Finish me, little spider," it snarled, "or I will hunt you forever." Anansi's 8 legs twitched. He thought of the children by the fire, listening to stories of him. He thought of wisdom, what it meant, what it cost. Slowly, he loosened the knots, whispering, "Strength is nothing without mercy." The beast roared, but slipped back into the water, glaring before vanishing. The river grew calm again. Above, Nyame's laughter shook the sky. "You surprised me, spider. Trickery I expected, mercy I did not. But the next trial will demand more than clever ropes. It will test your very soul." The moon faded behind clouds, and Anansi shivered. He had passed the first test, but at what price? The world shifted again. One blink, and Anansi was no longer on the riverbank. Instead, he stood at the edge of a forest so dark it seemed the sun had forgotten to rise. The trees towered high, their branches like twisted arms. The leaves rustled, not with wind, but with voices. They whispered. At first it was soft, like the murmur of distant water. Then the voices grew louder, overlapping, calling his name in tones both sweet and sharp. "Anansi, clever little spider, you think you are wise, but you are a fool. Your tricks will fail, and the world will laugh at you. Turn back before Nyame erases you from every story." Anansi froze. His 8 legs felt weak, and his small heart thumped like a drum. The whispers seemed to know him, every fear, every doubt. Nyame's voice thundered from above. "Spider, this is your second trial. The forest knows every truth and every lie. If you cannot tell one from the other, you will wander here forever." The whispers pressed closer. Some came like snakes, sliding into his ears. "Your wife will leave you. Your children mock you. The people in the village call you nothing but a thief." Others came like honey. "You are the cleverest creature alive. You will take Nyame's wisdom easily. No one will ever defeat you." Anansi trembled. Which voice was true? Which was false? His pride wanted to believe the honeyed lies, but his fear wanted to shrink from the harsh truths. He ran a few steps deeper, but the voices grew louder, circling him, weaving webs of sound around his mind. "Stop!" he shouted, covering his ears. "I will not listen." But the voices only laughed. "You cannot escape us. We are inside you. Sweat beaded across his tiny body. His cleverness felt useless. His tricks could not tie up sound. His webs could not bind words. Then, from somewhere deep within, he remembered the desert of silence he had once faced while weaving webs. He remembered how silence had steadied him more than any noise. Slowly, shakily, he lowered himself to the ground. He pressed his belly flat against the cool earth, closed all 8 eyes, and stopped listening. He forced himself into stillness. He did not argue. He did not answer. He did not move. Minutes stretched like hours. The voices clawed at him, begging for his attention, screaming insults, hissing lies, singing sweet praises, but Anansi gave them nothing. At last, the whispers began to weaken. First, the lies fell quiet. Then, the truths faded. Then even the forest itself seemed to hold its breath. When Anansi opened his eyes, the trees had shifted. Their branches bent away, forming a path of glowing light through the darkness. He stood, brushing dirt from his legs. His heart still pounded, but now it was steady. From above, Nyami's voice rolled like thunder. You have passed, Anansi. You chose silence over deception. Few creatures can resist the noise of lies and the sting of truth. But beware, this was only a shadow of what is to come. The deeper you go, the heavier wisdom becomes. Anansi bowed toward the sky, though his smile was sly again. Thank you, great Nyami. I may be small, but even small creatures know when to close their ears. The forest vanished in a blink, leaving Anansi standing once more beneath an endless sky. But the whispers lingered in his mind, faint echoes of doubt that would not fully die. He carried them with him, like scars invisible to the eye. And deep inside, he wondered, had all of them truly been lies? Or had some truths been hidden in the noise? The thought gnawed at him as he prepared for the next trial. The forest melted away like smoke, and Anansi found himself standing in the middle of a strange town square. The air shimmered with heat, though no sun could be seen. Stalls stretched as far as his 8 eyes could see. Colorful tents, glittering tables, and merchants dressed in cloaks that hid their faces. The strangest part was the goods. No one sold food or cloth. Instead, jars of laughter were stacked high like fruit. Baskets of anger glowed red as coals. Bottles of pride stood tall, golden and shining, while tiny vials of patience glimmered faintly like stars. A sign above the market read, "Buy what you need, but pay with what you love." Anansi's legs twitched nervously. Nyami's voice boomed above. "Spider, this is your next trial. The market of shadows holds every quality of man and beast. You may take what you desire, but remember, every purchase has a price. Choose wisely. Take too much, and you will be left empty." The merchants turned to him all at once. Though their faces were hidden, he felt their eyes burning into him. Their voices rose in a chorus. "Come, little spider, come and buy." One merchant shook a jar of respect, which rang like a bell. Another waved a basket of confidence. Another hissed, "Buy power, spider. With it, you can bend the world to your will." Anansi's heart leapt. He wanted everything. Imagine, if he had patience, he would never rush into traps. If he had confidence, no god could scare him. If he had power, he could even challenge Nyam. But then his gaze caught a small pouch on a lonely stall. It was plain, not glowing, not shining. A cracked label read only, "Truth." Anansi scuttled closer. The merchant behind the pouch leaned forward, voice low. "This one costs dearly, Spider. To hold it, You must give away what you love most. Anansi hesitated. What did he love most? His tricks, his webs, his quick tongue. Slowly, he pulled a thread of silk from his belly. Not just any silk, the strongest one, the kind he used for his most brilliant webs. Without it, his traps would be weaker, his games less sharp. His legs shook as he placed it on the counter. The merchant snatched it greedily and pushed the pouch of truth toward him. The moment Anansi touched it, it glowed warm, and he felt a strange weight in his heart. The other merchants hissed in fury. Fool! You could have bought power. You could have bought pride. Anansi grinned weakly. Ah, but truth will outlast them all. Suddenly, the market flickered. The stalls shook. One by one, they crumbled into smoke. The merchants screamed, their cloaks burning away to reveal nothing inside. In seconds, the entire square dissolved, leaving Anansi alone under the wide sky, clutching the small pouch. Niame's voice rumbled. You gave up your strength for truth. That may serve you or destroy you. Remember, Spider, wisdom always comes with sacrifice. Anansi looked down at the pouch. It seemed so small, so fragile. Was it worth the silk he had lost? His mind raced with doubt, but deep down he knew. Truth would matter, even when tricks failed. Still, as he scuttled forward, he could not shake the unease. Without his strongest silk, how would he face the trials to come? The path ahead shimmered, and he walked on, carrying not just a pouch of truth, but the heavy weight of sacrifice. The world shifted again, and Anansi found himself standing in a place where the ground cracked beneath his feet. The air burned his skin, and the horizon stretched empty in every direction. A desert. The sun hung high and merciless, though no clouds moved in the sky. Niame's voice rolled down like thunder. Anansi, this is your third trial. Survive 3 days in this desert without eating or drinking. If you break the rule, your quest ends here. Endure, and you move closer to wisdom. The desert wind hissed across the dunes. Sand stung his eyes. Anansi squinted, his small legs already aching. The first day was bearable. He marched across the burning sand, his mind sharp with determination. 3 days? I am clever enough to endure that, he muttered. He thought of the pouch of truth tied to his side, glowing faintly. That gave him strength. But when the second day came, the desert began to toy with him. His belly growled so loudly, it felt like thunder trapped inside his body. His throat burned like fire. His legs dragged with each step. That was when he saw it. A fat, juicy lizard crawling lazily across the sand. Its tail shimmered, fat with meat. Anansi's mouth watered. His legs itched to pounce. He could already imagine the taste, the relief. No, he told himself weakly. Niame is watching. This must be a trick. But the lizard blinked, flicked its tongue, and waddled closer. It looked real. Too real. Anansi's heart pounded. What if Niame was not watching? What if the lizard was a gift from the gods, a secret chance to survive? His fangs tingled. He crouched low. His body screamed to strike. Then he remembered the pouch at his side, the pouch of truth. With trembling legs, he opened it. A faint whisper rose from within. What you see is not always what is real. Anansi blinked. His hunger clouded his vision, but the whisper steadied him. Slowly, he reached for a stick instead of his fangs and prodded the lizard. In an instant, it exploded into sand and smoke. The air hissed with laughter. Clever spider, the desert mocked. Anansi staggered back, his body weak, but his spirit burning stronger. By the third day, he could barely move. His legs trembled with every step. His throat was dry as dust. His thoughts spun in dizzy circles. He wanted to give up, to collapse, to surrender, but he remembered the children in the village sitting by the fire, waiting for stories. He imagined their wide eyes, their laughter. If he failed now, his name would vanish from their songs forever. Not yet, he whispered, dragging himself forward inch by inch. The story of Anansi will not end here. The moment he spoke those words, the desert cracked open. The sand melted away, and cool winds rushed around him. Streams of water burst from the ground, splashing against his body. Shade rose above him, trees sprouting from nothing. He collapsed in the grass, drinking deeply, his strength slowly returning. From the sky, Niami's laughter thundered. You endured, spider. You saw through illusion. You denied your hunger. Few creatures would have resisted. You move forward, but be warned. The next trial will test more than your body. It will test your soul. Anansi coughed, water dripping from his fangs. His belly still ached, but his smile returned, sly as ever. You may test me, Niami, but remember, hunger cannot devour a trickster's will. Yet as he lay beneath the shade, one thought haunted him. If I had not carried the pouch of truth, I would have failed. The weight of his sacrifice pressed heavier than ever. The cool grass of the oasis vanished. Anansi blinked and found himself standing on a floor of shining gold. Pillars of light rose into the sky, and thrones carved from silver clouds surrounded him in a wide circle. The gods. They sat high above, cloaked in radiance, their faces glowing too brightly for his 8 eyes to hold. Their voices whispered like rivers, thundered like storms, and crackled like fire. The court of Niami was assembled. The sky god's voice rolled down from the tallest throne. Spider, your next trial is here. Let the council judge you. If your words deceive us, you will be burned away like straw in fire. If your heart is true, you may pass. Anansi's small legs trembled. He had tricked beasts and endured hunger, but this was different. He was a speck beneath gods who commanded stars. And yet, a sly grin tugged at his fangs. If I can trick men, why not gods? The first god leaned forward, voice sharp as wind. Tell me, Spider, why do you seek wisdom? Is it for power? To rule over others? Anansi bowed low. Great One, I seek wisdom for the people. They live in confusion, stumbling in darkness. With wisdom, I can guide them. The god's eyes blazed. And yet your pride hums like a drum. You do not speak only for others, you speak for yourself. The second god spoke, her voice like fire crackling. What would you do with Niam's pot if you gained it? Share it freely, or keep it hidden, to make yourself greater than all? Anansi's mouth opened, but the words tangled. He wanted to say he would share, but deep down, a part of him pictured the pot in his web, the world bowing to his cleverness. His silence betrayed him. The goddess's eyes pierced through him. I smell the smoke of selfishness. The third god thundered, Spider, why should the smallest of creatures hold the greatest of treasures? Anansi's smile flickered, but he recovered quickly. Because wisdom does not belong to size. Even the smallest drop of water can carve the hardest stone. Even the smallest creature can carry the greatest truth, the court murmured. Some gods nodded in approval, others scowled in doubt. Finally, a goddess cloaked in silver rose. Her gaze was colder than moonlight. "Anansi," she said, "your tongue is quick, your tricks are sharp. But wisdom is not only words, it is honesty." She extended a hand. "Answer me without tricks. Why do you truly seek the pot of wisdom?" Anansi froze. His legs shook. His mind spun webs of excuses, but every thread broke. The pouch of truth at his side grew warm, as though demanding an answer. At last, he whispered, "I seek it because I want to be remembered. I do not want to vanish. I want my name in every story. I want to live forever in the mouths of people." The court fell silent. Nyame leaned forward, his voice rolling like thunder across the golden floor. "Finally, Spider, you speak the truth. Your pride is heavy, but your honesty has opened the path. Go on. But know this, wisdom will always reveal your flaws. You cannot hide from it. Even behind tricks, the thrones of light faded. The gods dissolved into mist. Anansi stood alone again, the floor beneath him melting back into earth. His body shook with exhaustion, but his heart thudded with new fire. He had not tricked the gods. He had nearly failed, but somehow, by confessing, he had survived. Still, as he walked forward, his grin returned. Even honesty, he whispered to himself, can be a trick if used at the right time. But deep inside, he wondered if the gods had already seen through that thought. The golden court of the gods dissolved, and Anansi was flung back to earth. He landed in a shallow stream, cool water splashing across his tired body. For a moment, he breathed with relief. After facing the blazing gazes of the gods, this felt almost like mercy. But the stream rippled, the water swirled. Then came the sound he dreaded, a deep, gurgling roar. From the river's depths rose a shape larger than any hut, dripping scales that glistened like iron. Eyes burned red. The river beast, the same creature Anansi had bound with vines, then spared. It bared its teeth, jagged as broken spears. "Little spider," it hissed, voice thick with rage. "I told you I would hunt you forever. Your mercy was weakness. Now you will pay." Anansi's 8 legs froze. He had known mercy would carry risk. But to face the beast again, stronger, angrier, felt like a curse. The beast lunged, snapping its jaws, missing him by a thread. Anansi leapt onto a stone, then to a branch, scrambling for height. His heart thudded so loudly it drowned the stream. "Wait!" Anansi called down, his voice quick, sharp. "Mighty beast, you waste your strength. Look at you, foaming, roaring, thrashing the water. Every roar drains you. Every splash weakens you. Why should you destroy yourself chasing one small spider?" The beast growled, eyes narrowing. Anansi pressed on, his words weaving faster than his silk. "You are feared already. Your name shakes villages. Why waste your power on me? If you roar too long, your fury will burn out, and you will be nothing but a tired fish." The beast paused. Its chest heaved with rage, but doubt crept into its eyes. Anansi leaned closer, balancing on his branch. "Let me go, and your power remains untouchable. Chase me, and you prove you are not mighty, only angry." The river fell silent. The beast's body trembled, torn between fury and reason. At last, with a final glare, it slipped beneath the surface, its red eyes vanishing into the dark. The water stilled. Anansi collapsed against the branch, gasping. His legs shook, his heart pounding like a drum. He had escaped again, but barely. From above, Niame's voice thundered. "You surprised me, spider. Trickery I expected, but you turned fury into weakness. That is wisdom, Anansi grinned faintly, though his body still trembled. Anger blinds the strong, but words can guide the blind. The stream faded, replaced once more by endless sky. Anansi marched forward, his pouch of truth still glowing faintly at his side. But deep down, a thought unsettled him. The beast had been spared twice. Would it stay gone, or would its hunger rise again? The sky opened like a curtain, and Anansi stepped forward into a strange chamber. At first, he thought it was empty, but then he saw them. Walls made of pure glass, stretching high and endless. Mirrors. Everywhere he turned, his 8 eyes caught his own reflection. 1,000 Anansi stared back at him, grinning, frowning, sneering. Some looked clever, others cruel. Some looked tired, others hungry for power. Niame's voice echoed, rolling through the glass. Spider, wisdom is not only about tricking others, it is about knowing yourself. Walk the hall of mirrors and see who you truly are. But beware, what you see may bind you. Anansi chuckled, though unease prickled at his legs. Reflections cannot trap me. I am Anansi the clever. I see through tricks. He walked. His reflection walked with him. Then one of the mirrors changed. Instead of copying him, it showed a taller Anansi, dressed in golden robes, the pot of wisdom in his claws. The world bowed at his feet. Look, the reflection whispered. This is your destiny. Take the pot, rule all. Become more than a story. Become a god. Anansi's fangs glistened as he smiled. Yes, that is what I deserve. He stepped closer, his legs brushing the glass, but another mirror shimmered. This one showed him smaller, weaker, trapped in his own web. Villagers laughed, calling him greedy, foolish, his name forgotten. The reflection hissed, "This is your end. The gods will mock you. You will vanish, nothing more than a shadow." Anansi recoiled. His stomach twisted. He leapt away, only to face yet another mirror. This time, it showed him sitting with children, telling stories by the fire. The children laughed, clapped, and remembered his words. His name lived on, not through power, but through teaching. This reflection spoke softly. Wisdom is not to rule. It is to share. Give freely, and your name will never die. Anansi froze. His heart raced. 3 reflections, 3 futures. Which was true? Which was a lie? The chamber trembled. The voices of the reflections grew louder, overlapping like thunder. "Power!" cried one. "Shame!" hissed another. "Stories!" urged the last. Anansi clutched his pouch of truth. The glow spread, steady and warm. He closed his 8 eyes. "Silence," he whispered. "I will not be ruled by shadows." When he opened his eyes, the mirrors cracked. The reflections shattered into dust, leaving only one mirror intact. In it, Anansi saw himself as he was, small, clever, flawed, but alive. Nayame's voice filled the hall. "At last, you see. Wisdom is not crowns or fear. It is knowing your limits, knowing your worth, and choosing rightly." The last mirror faded. Anansi stepped forward, legs steady, heart both heavy and light. For the first time, he wondered, was the pot of wisdom truly meant for him? Or was the journey itself the lesson? Still, his grin returned. "Either way," he whispered, "the tale will remember me." The hall of mirrors collapsed into smoke, and Anansi stepped into a vast courtyard carved from starlight. At its center floated a great pot, glowing brighter than the sun, the pot of wisdom. Anansi's heart leapt. At last, he whispered, the prize is mine. But then the shadows shifted. From the heavens, Nyame descended, his form towering, cloaked in storms, eyes blazing like twin suns. His voice cracked the sky. Spider, he said, you have danced through my trials. You have tricked, you have spoken truth, you have faced yourself. And now you stand before wisdom. But know this, what you see is not freely given. To reach it, you must pass one final test. Anansi licked his fangs, his grin tight. Another test? You promised me the pot if I proved myself. Nyame's booming laugh shook the courtyard. Did I promise, or did you assume? Even the clever can be fooled. Anansi froze, his chest tightened. For the first time, it was not he weaving tricks, but the sky god himself. The pot shimmered. Anansi stepped closer, only for the ground beneath him to shift like sand. He nearly fell into a bottomless pit, catching himself with a desperate leap. The courtyard twisted, reshaping into a maze of shifting tiles, each glowing with runes. Nyame's voice thundered above, choose your path wisely. One leads to the pot, the others lead to fire, flood, or endless fall. Anansi's 8 eyes darted across the shifting floor. Symbols blazed, sun, moon, spider, bird, river. His mind raced, a puzzle, a trap dressed as a riddle. He studied the tiles. The spider symbol called to him, but it was too obvious. Nyame expected him to choose it. The bird seemed mocking, too free for a web spinner. The sun blazed too bright. Then his gaze landed on the river. He remembered the beast, its fury turned by words. Water flowed, adapted, survived. He stepped onto the river tile. The ground trembled but held. He moved forward. Another set of symbols appeared. Fire, tree, mask, web. His legs hesitated. Think, Anansi, thou, he muttered. Not what flatters you, but what endures. He chose the tree, roots deep, branches wide. The tile steadied. Again and again he chose. Not prideful, not obvious, but what carried balance. River, tree, moon, silence. Finally, he stood at the courtyard's center. The pot of wisdom glowed before him, light spilling across his body. Nyame's voice thundered once more, but softer now, almost amused. Clever spider, you did not race blindly. You did not choose vanity. You walked with patience. Perhaps you have learned more than you think. Anansi's grin spread wide. Then the pot is mine? The god's form flickered. For a moment, Nyame's blazing eyes narrowed. Take it, if you dare. The pot pulsed, waiting. Anansi's legs trembled as he reached forward, his claws brushing its rim. The warmth seared his body, filling him with both power and fear. And deep inside, he wondered, was this victory or another snare woven by Nyame's endless wisdom? The pot burned like fire in Anansi's claws. He staggered back, dazzled by its glow. For a heartbeat, joy filled him. After all the tricks, all the dangers, the treasure was his. But the joy was short. The light from the pot poured into him like a flood. His 8 legs shook. His body quivered. Thoughts, not his own, rushed into his mind. Languages of birds, secrets of the stars, the cries of rivers, the laughter of children unborn. Too much, far too much, Anansi gasped, his chest straining. It's too heavy, he croaked. Nyame's voice boomed from above. Wisdom is not a jewel to hold. It is a burden to carry. Did you think it would make you only strong? It will break you if you cling too tightly, Anansi stumbled, dropping to his knees. Visions flashed before his eyes, villages burning because of lies, kings crumbling because of greed, children starving while rulers feasted. He saw all the mistakes of humankind, all the dangers of pride, and worse, he saw himself at the center, his tricks twisting into ruin, his name cursed instead of praised. "No," he cried, "this is not what I wanted." The pot's glow dimmed slightly, as if listening. Anansi clutched it tighter. His mind spun. If I keep it all, I will be crushed. If I give it away, I lose everything. But if I share it, slowly, trembling, he lifted his voice. I cannot hold it alone. Let the wisdom scatter. Let it flow into rivers, trees, winds, and hearts. Let it live everywhere, so no one creature is destroyed by its weight. The pot cracked. A great sound, like thunder, split the sky. From its mouth, spilled stream of golden light. They raced outward, breaking into sparks that scattered across the earth. Some landed in rivers, some in mountains, some in people's hearts. Anansi fell backward, gasping, empty and free. The pot, once heavy and glowing, now lay silent, a simple clay jar. Nyame descended, his storm-wrapped form towering above the small spider. His eyes glowed softer now. At last, you understand. Wisdom cannot be hoarded. It must be shared. That is its price. Anansi groaned, lifting his aching body. And what do I gain then? If I cannot keep it, if it is scattered, what remains for me? Nyame's deep laugh rolled across the sky. Your tale remains. You wanted your name to live forever, and so it shall. Because you sought wisdom, failed to own it, and yet helped it spread. Anansi blinked. His mouth opened, then closed. At last, a weak grin stretched across his fangs. So, I lose everything, and still I win something? Exactly, Nyame said, eyes gleaming. The storm faded, leaving only the spider and the cracked jar. Anansi dragged himself upright, shaking his head. A trick all along, he muttered, but this time, not mine. The cracked pot lay silent in the dust, no brighter than an old cooking jar, but the light it had spilled was everywhere. Golden sparks floated through the air, sinking into the earth, rivers, trees, and people. Across the land, something shifted. A hunter, in the forest, suddenly understood how to track without waste, sparing the young so the herd could live on. A mother, tired and hungry, found new strength in kindness, teaching her children to share even when little remained. A village chief, tempted by greed, heard a whisper in his heart, reminding him that power without justice destroys. The wisdom Anansi had scattered was alive, but the people did not see a glowing pot or a thunderous god. They saw only changes in themselves. They felt clarity, guidance, and strange courage to do what was right. And then the stories began. Did you hear of the spider who tricked Nyame? Some whispered. They say he stole wisdom itself. Others laughed. No, replied the elders, he did not steal it. He freed it. He spread it. Without him, we would still stumble in darkness. Anansi listened from the shadows, perched on the roof of a clay hut. His body still ached from the burden, his pride still smarting from losing the pot. Yet when he heard the children chant his name by the fire, Anansi, 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 the clever, his heart swelled. This, he realized, was greater than power. His name lived in mouths, his tale in hearts. He would not vanish. He would live forever in stories. But then came the twist he did not expect. As he crept into the night, he saw one of the sparks of wisdom land upon a small child. The boy's eyes lit with understanding. He looked up at the stars and said softly, "If the spider could trick a god, then so can I." Anansi froze. A cold chill slid through him. He had shared wisdom, but also cunning. He had given light, but also sharpened the shadows. Wisdom was powerful. Wisdom was dangerous, and it was now everywhere. From above, Nyame's voice whispered like distant thunder, "Spider, you spread wisdom, but you cannot control how it grows. That is its nature. Will the people use it for good, or will they twist it for evil? That is no longer your trick to play." Anansi bowed his head. For the first time, silence filled him. Still, a grin broke slowly across his face. "Then the stories will decide, and I, Anansi, will be in every one." The stars seemed to laugh with him. The night was quiet. The stars spread wide like spilled salt across the sky. Anansi rested on a tall tree branch, watching the sparks of wisdom scatter endlessly across the world. Each light found a home, some glowing brightly in kind hearts, others flickering dangerously in restless minds. For a long time, Anansi said nothing. His 8 legs curled beneath him, his thoughts heavy. He had wanted the pot for himself, to be remembered as the cleverest of all. Yet now, as he watched the world change, he realized something deeper. The pot was gone, but the stories were alive. The people whispered, laughed, warned, and remembered. Every tale placed him at the center, the trickster, the schemer, the survivor, the sharer of wisdom. "Maybe," Anansi murmured, "the true treasure is not the pot. It is the story itself. And as long as people tell it, I will never die." The wind shifted, carrying the voices of villagers below. An elder spoke to children gathered around a fire. "Listen well. There was once a spider named Anansi who sought to steal the wisdom of the gods. He tricked beasts, faced trials, and even stood before Nyame himself. But in the end, he learned that wisdom is too heavy for one, so he let it flow into the world. And that is why we, too, hold wisdom in our hearts." The children gasped, their eyes wide. Some laughed at Anansi's clever escapes. Some frowned at his greed. But all of them listened. All of them remembered. High in the tree, Anansi grinned, his fangs glinting. "Yes, let them tell it, let them argue, let them laugh, let them wonder. For as long as my name lives on their tongues, I have not lost." But as he turned to weave a web, a small thought crept into him, quiet, sharp, and unsettling. What if one day the people forget? What if the stories fade and my name falls silent? His legs twitched nervously. Then he shook his head and laughed. "If they forget, I will trick them into remembering. If they tire of my name, I will twist a new tale. I am Anansi. The story never ends far above." Nyame's deep voice rumbled softly, no longer mocking, but almost respectful. "Indeed, little spider, the pot is gone, the wisdom is scattered. But your story will outlive even the stars." And so it was. The spider crawled into his web, weaving threads that shimmered in the moonlight. Each thread caught a fragment of the tale, each line humming with laughter, warning, and truth. The web stretched across the night sky, shining like a second constellation. And when people looked up, they saw not just stars, but the story of Anansi, clever, flawed, and unforgettable. From Anansi's long quest, one truth shines brighter than gold. Wisdom is never safe in the hands of one. It belongs to all. Pride can blind us, lies can trap us, but honesty and sharing give life to generations. Yet wisdom is not always gentle. In the wrong hands, it can twist into cunning, greed, or harm. In the right hands, it becomes light, guiding families, healing hearts, and shaping a better tomorrow. So here is the question for you, dear listener. If a spark of wisdom were placed in your hands today, how would you use it? Would you guard it, share it, or twist it to your own advantage? The story of Anansi lives on because it does not end with him. It continues with us. If you enjoyed the story, give us a thumbs up, share it with your friends, and hit the subscribe button. Don't forget to subscribe and turn on the notification button so you never miss out on our latest intriguing stories. Thanks for watching.